Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network, a division of the Multiple Sclerosis Global Support Network. The following program broadcast is an original creation by the broadcast entity. Discussion within the following broadcast should be used for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice or consultation. Before considering application of any broadcast content in the following program, please consult your healthcare provider. If you feel you are having a medical emergency, please contact your local health services for immediate assistance. MS&Me Media and the Multiple Sclerosis Global Support Network do not guarantee or warrant the accuracy of information in the broadcast to follow. The Multiple Sclerosis Global Support Network provisions broadcast services to program hosts. Information discussed in the broadcast does not necessarily reflect the views, opinions, or goals of the network and are solely those of the show broadcast host. Should you wish to host a broadcast, please visit our website at msmemedia.com and submit a request to become a program host. We thank you for listening to the MS&Me Radio Network. Enjoy the show.
Hi, my name is Tori Wampy, and I'll be your host today for MS Girl. You know the one. I call it MS Girl. That's AKA me, Tori. And I call it You Know the One because as my multiple sclerosis declined, people started pointing and saying, oh, that's Tori, oh, that's the MS girl, you know the one. And so instead of getting upset about it, I actually kind of tried to use some humor about it. So I call myself MS Girl, You Know the One, and that's going to be the name of my show. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in and listening to me today. I'd like to give a big thank you and a big shout out to MS&Me Radio Network and to their team for all their hard work that they do and providing such a wonderful platform for people with multiple sclerosis to learn, and all of their caregivers and people that want to know more about multiple sclerosis. I think it's a wonderful opportunity for everybody. So thank you so much, MS&Me Radio. I want to tell you a little bit about my MS story before we get started here. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in March of 2006. March happens to be Multiple Sclerosis National Awareness Month, and I didn't really know what was going on with me. I had been sick for a long time. I had all the typical symptoms of multiple sclerosis: the tingling, the numbing, the fatigue, vertigo, MS hugs, constant pain, dragging my foot. If you drew a line down the middle of my body, the whole left side was weak. I would drag my foot. I would drop things a lot. And it would go off and on, and then it would go away, and I'd go back and forth to the doctor, and they would say, oh, now it's gone away, so everything's okay with you. And there was even a time when one of the doctors told me, hey, I think maybe you're a hypochondriac, and maybe you should go see a psychologist because you keep on having weird things happen to you, and then you don't know what's going on, and then it goes away. So maybe you're a hypochondriac. And I said, okay. And then I just went on, and things kept happening for quite a while after that. Then one day I ended up going to the doctor for a completely different reason. I think I had strep throat, and I was probably going because I had to get a throat culture or something. And I said, hey, by the way, my feet have been numb for like the last 3 months. And the doctor said, okay, I think maybe I'll go ahead and get you an MRI and we can see what's going on. And so we did that, and the MRI came back completely normal. There were no lesions in my brain or anything, but there was a lesion on my T-spine. And they said, typically that is something that people with MS have, but you just have one big lesion there, and we're not worried about it, and there's nothing wrong with you, so just go on with your life, and everything should be fine. and everything was fine for a while. And then later, I went back to the doctor for another reason, and I had another issue going on. And they said, I think we'll send you to the neurologist. So they sent me to the neurologist, and she didn't think that I had MS as well, but she did order an MRI of my cervical spine because that was the only part of my spine that was not covered by the MRI. We went ahead and did that, and then she called me and she said, we found a very small lesion in your cervical spine. So you have 2 very small lesions. And we would like to go ahead and do a spinal tap to see if you have multiple sclerosis. Of course, I knew nothing about multiple sclerosis. And she said, not only do I want to do the spinal tap, but I want to do it tomorrow. Which obviously kind of scared me because when they get back to you so quick like that, it's a little bit scary. So I said, okay. I went home, I got everything ready. I had my children taken care of for the day. My husband took off of work, and I had a spinal tap. I had the typical headache, and I laid flat for a week and did everything that you were supposed to do for your spinal tap. And a week later, the neurologist called and she said, I'm sorry to tell you, but you do have multiple sclerosis. These are the options that you need to start looking at as far as disease-modifying medications. And your life should be pretty normal. You probably won't end up ever doing a triathlon again because I was a triathlete. And besides that, everything should be fine. So I decided to go on some shots that I would take daily, and I ended up doing 5 triathlons actually after she told me that I wouldn't do anymore. So that was the success part for me. But then in 2014, one day I woke up and my foot was dragging severely bad. And I was very sick. I was very fatigued. I had a lot of tingling, numbness. My face was numb. I had the electric shocks when you put your head down, and it does a shock through your body. And I know there's a fancy word for it, which is not coming to mind right now. But I had all of that. So I did go to my neurologist, and they did do a round of steroids, and I felt a little bit better, but my balance was off, my walking was off, and I just really didn't do well. And after that, my MS really started to decline. So for the last 3 years, I've really been rehabbing from that. I've been hospitalized 4 times. I've been in rehab for months at a time. I've had to relearn how to walk 3 times. I'm actually relearning how to walk for the 4th time right now, but that's not MS related. I guess it is MS related because I fell and broke my leg, but I'm relearning how to walk because I have a broken leg. So my MS is obviously a factor with that because I'm waddly. I either walk with a walker or a wall walking, holding on to the walls. Before that, when I was going out for long places, I was going into a wheelchair. So that's part of my MS story. I know we all are on our own journeys. We all have, each and every one of you have your own stories and your own symptoms, and we all have something to talk about with our MS. And I just think this is a really great platform for us to talk about it. I want to focus talking about my show, about making a purpose in your life and creating a beautiful life that we still can be the best versions of ourselves, and everything can still go really well. Just because we have MS, that's a very, very small part of who we are. We are still the same person that we were before our diagnosis, and we can still create beautiful lives. It just takes some time to get there, and sometimes we have to do things different. And for me personally, it was very hard to be such an active, able-bodied person to going to a very sedentary person. And I medically had to retire. I had worked at the Denver District Attorney's Office as a paralegal for 23 years. So I had to medically retire from that. I couldn't drive because my feet were so numb. I stopped being involved in my children's activities. I was a very active mom in their schools, with their swim team, with Girl Scouts, karate, all of the activities they did. And I went through a huge depression for 3 years. And it was very, very hard for me. And just recently, actually, March of this year, of 2017, I kind of came out of that depression because I was so sad and so lonely, and I was sitting on the sofa crying all the time. And sometimes I was so sick I had to sleep on the sofa because I couldn't even get upstairs to go to bed. And I just said, I can't live like this anymore. I have to have a purpose in my life. I have to change it. And so I kind of went through a transformation, a metamorphosis, just like a caterpillar does. Kind of went through the chaotic stage, then into a cocoon stage, then sprouted wings. But I think we all go through that, no matter what we're going through in our lives, whether it be a hardship, a divorce, a financial, an illness, a family member, a friendship, whatever we're going through, we go through that in our lives. And I don't think that it always goes in that order. I think you can go back and forth and back and forth. I think sometimes you can be in the chaotic stage, and sometimes you can sprout your wings. And then sometimes you have to go back in your cocoon for a while. And then sometimes you have your wings fully bloomed and they're beautiful. And then other days you're back in the chaotic stage. And I think that that is very, very necessary with MS, because a lot of people call MS a day-by-day disease. I personally, for me, call it a minute-by-minute disease, because 1 minute I'll be fine and walking or hoping I get to the bathroom on time, and then the next minute I'll be dropping things or falling on the ground, and then the next minute I'm fine and I'm typing and I'm working. I do work from home very, very part-time for a disability lawyer. And the next thing you know, I'm down in bed for 3 or 4 hours. So it's a roller coaster, transformation. And I just really think that there's a lot of things that we can talk about, a lot of things that can make our life still purposeful and beautiful, and things that we can work on despite some of the issues that we have, despite some of the challenges that we have. We have to learn to be creative. We have to MacGyver things, things that are at home. We have to learn how to be creative to reach things or do things that we used to be able to do. I used to be able to cook really well and garden really well, and I was an excellent, excellent athlete. And right now, I can't barely walk to the bathroom on time or walk to the mailbox to get my mail. So there's just a lot of things that we have to plan out, or we have to work on, and we have to do. There's a lot of blessings in disguise with this disease. I think that, I don't know, everybody has their own story. Everybody has their own plan. I look forward to hearing from you guys to see different topics that we can talk about. But really my purpose and my mission for this radio show is to talk about how our lives are still beautiful and happy, and even though we have to suffer sometimes, we still can make it. Things can still be great. And sometimes you have to go through a lot of suffering. Sometimes suffering gives you endurance. endurance gives you character, and character gives us hope. And I don't think that we can be disappointed with hope. I think hope is a great thing. And sometimes the suffering and the hardships and the pain that we have to go through is an experience that we need to become the best version of ourselves. And yes, I had my whole life planned out. I was going to raise my perfect children and have this perfect career and live in a perfect house, and didn't work out that way. That wasn't God's plan for me. I think, yes, I had all those things, and I'm thankful for my past. I'm thankful that I got to experience all those wonderful things. But now I have a different platform, and now I think my platform is to go through what I'm going through, as far as maybe reaching out and helping. I've done a lot of MS events. I've organized some MS events. I write as a guest blogger for a variety of MS blog sites, and I'm looking forward to being a host. Occasionally, once a month, I'm going to be doing this on this show. So I'm excited about that. And I really believe that because of what I've gone through with my multiple sclerosis, I've become a more kind and compassionate person. I think I'm empathetic to people. And I think that there's a lot of things that we can do to help us feel better, to help us communicate to other people, to help us contribute to society, or to be the best mother we can be, or be the best person or friend or daughter or son, and it doesn't even matter. It doesn't have to be something huge. It can be something small. If today all I can do is lay in bed and watch TV, then that's all I can do today. All I can do is lay in bed and watch TV. And if tomorrow maybe there's something great I can do, like cook a meal for my family, or pet my cat, or go shopping with a friend, or talk on the telephone, then that's great. Maybe that's what I can do. I don't think that we have to do these huge, crazy things to make our lives beautiful. I think that there's little things we can do. I think it's great that we have a great support. There's a lot of resources. There's a lot of networking. There's a lot of resources out there. And I just think that that's a wonderful thing. I think it's important that everybody focuses on themselves. You know, a lot of people get upset because they're told they look beautiful even though they're sick, or they should eat this special diet, or do this special exercise, or do this spiritual thing. And I do think everybody has their own personal thing that they need to do. For me personally, I do have to have a purpose in life, or I tend to get depressed. It doesn't work for me not to do that. I tend to get very depressed, and I don't feel like I have a purpose, even though I'm still a wife and a mother. I need to be helping people. That's just the way I was created. I try and exercise as much as possibly I can. I was an amazing athlete prior to this. I hope to one day gain as much strength as I can so I can be a good functioning person again. I try to watch my diet, but for me, I just have to go day by day. And I think that multiple sclerosis does that for each and every one of us. I think multiple sclerosis you never know when it's going to hit you. And sometimes we get sideswiped, and that's humbling. And it's changing. And for me personally, it's changed me. And I've become a different person from it. And I think there's a lot of things that we can talk about. I know creativity helps with that. And it doesn't matter if your creativity, you don't have to be this amazing artist or this amazing cook or whatever. It could be something so little as, I don't know, something so little as just cleaning up your desk if all you have is 5 minutes of energy to do that. Or it could be something elaborate. So there's amazing artists out there. Everybody has something to contribute to this world. It doesn't matter if you have multiple sclerosis, if you have a chronic illness. It doesn't matter. I just believe that everybody, even if you're broken, you can still have a wonderful life. And that's what my mission is to just share with people my experiences, because I know that I've been depressed, I've felt hopeless, I've felt, my gosh, why was I given this disease? None of us know that. We didn't do anything bad to deserve that. We didn't do anything to cause MS. Some of the doctors don't even really know all the reasons. I mean, there's lots of different theories and medicines and things out there for this disease. So I think that if we just try and get through the best we can still be happy, and we have the right to be happy. We don't have to sit home and be depressed. And trust me, I'm the worst offender of that. I have sat home many a times, and I have missed many events and then had a pity party. And trust me, nobody shows up to the pity party but me. I'm the only one that comes. My guests won't even show up to the pity party. So my pity party is me alone, sulking in my sadness. But sometimes you have to have humor, because if we don't have humor, if I'm not going to laugh, I'm going to cry. I had a situation with my husband one day where I had fallen very bad. I had scraped my knees. I was dripping blood everywhere. I was bawling, crying like a baby. And the embarrassing moments of MS, which not all of us like to talk about, I was peeing my pants at the exact same time. And we started laughing together. And we were like, okay, if we can't laugh, we're going to cry. So sometimes you just have to take it like it is, get through it, and we can become that butterfly. And sometimes we are going to be a butterfly. Sometimes our wings are really going to sprout and we're going to feel really great and have wonderful days. And other days we're not. Other days we're going to lay in bed all day. We're going to drop coffee all over the floor. Some days we're going to be able to get up and get out. Other days we're going to be down for a week or two. Personally, I broke my leg. I just got out of rehab. I was in rehab for 5 weeks. I've only been home for a week and a half, and I haven't been doing too much. I mean, I have the physical therapist coming, the OT coming, the nurse coming, and it's like all I'm doing is the medical stuff, and I feel like, good grief, I need to have something positive happen here. I need to have some purpose again. But spending time with loved ones, reaching out, having a community, there's tons of resources out there through the internet or in person. There's lots of different societies from a bunch of different organizations, multiple sclerosis societies in different states and different countries. We can all focus on that. So there's resources out there for us. There's great opportunities for us to be part of different communities. We can volunteer if we want to. We don't have to if we don't want to. But I just think that the best thing for each and every one of us is to try and be the best version of ourselves, which is great and wonderful. And I'd love to hear feedback from you guys. I have a lot of really neat ideas of things I'm going to talk about, blessings in disguise, things that can make us happy, things that how creativity can make us heal or make us feel better. Obviously, we're not going to be healed because MS does not have a cure right now, but there's a lot of things that we can do to make us be the best version of ourselves. And that's what I'd really like to do. And I'd really like to interview a few people. Anyone that wants to be interviewed, please contact me. I have some ideas up my sleeve already. I'd love to hear from you guys. You can get a hold of me at msgirlyouknowtheone@gmail.com. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram at msgirlyouknowtheone, and I'm on Twitter at msgirlyouknow. So Twitter didn't let me put in the one. It just had a cutoff for that. So I hope everybody feels well. Everybody is having a wonderful holiday season, and I know the holidays are very, very hard. So sometimes that does bring depression around. Sometimes we feel defeated with that. And it's okay. It's okay to feel defeated. It's okay to feel bad. But also, just take a minute out of your day. If it's just 1 minute to say, you know what? I feel defeated. I have MS. I don't like this. But you know what? I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make myself feel okay. I'm still worthy. I'm still a good person. And I can feel okay about this. It's okay to feel this way. So I enjoy talking to all of you guys. Once again, please contact me, msgirlyouknowtheone@gmail.com, Instagram or Facebook, msgirlyouknowtheone, or Twitter, msgirlyouknow. And until next time, just do what you can to make yourself feel good about yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be nice to yourself. Be compassionate to yourself. And stay brave.